the world. However, you have to prepare yourself for that in advance. Make effort to make your stage karmatit, churn the knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world, and become completely pure by having remembrance of the Father. Only then will this world be transformed. And there's a song, human beings of today are in darkness. Om Shanti. This song is sung on the path of devotion.
Yes, please, continue, please. Oh, sorry. Your sister, please mute, sorry. Your mute is there. Please unmute. Yes.
They sing that they are in darkness and ask to be given the third eye of knowledge. They ask for knowledge from the ocean of knowledge. Otherwise, there is ignorance. It is said in the Iron Age, everyone is a Kumbhakana sleeping in the sleep of ignorance. This is a character, Kumbhakana, giant, and he liked to eat a lot and sleep a lot, and no one could wake him up. And so Baba in the Murli often uses this example. It's us, it's the world. And we all like eating, we all like sleeping. But really, you know, we're in such a world now, as we see currently, it's so obvious to us now that sleeping and eating is not going to resolve the issues of the world. We have to work on ourselves. We have to change ourselves. Eating and sleeping is not the answer. So they could never wake this giant up. So it represents our third eye, the eye of knowledge, the eye of wisdom. When I wake up to realize who I am, that who God is and what I have to do, when I wake up to this, then we can help make a change in the world. So it is said in the Iron Age, everyone is a Kumbhakana sleeping in the sleep of ignorance. The Father says, knowledge is very simple. They study so many Vedas and scriptures, etc. on the path of devotion. They do Hatha yoga and adopt gurus, etc. All of those gurus now have to be renounced because they can never teach Raj Yoga. So if you follow, it's up to us if we choose to follow on. If you're new, you might be following somebody or something. And so it takes time to think about what Baba's saying. But actually, Raj Yoga is about transformation of the self. Raj, king, ruler of the self, the kings of India, the Rajis. So it's Baba's teaching us to become a ruler of ourself. And he says, as I rule myself, my mind, my intellect, my sanskars, as I rule my senses, then it's this that will make me a ruler in the future. And this is what will bring about change in the world. You know, yesterday Baba talked about the Sikh scripture, the Granth. It's interesting, we learn a little bit about every religion. And he said at one point, the Granth, that's the Sikh scripture, was very small, very, very small. And now it's, if you ever go to a Gurdwara, it's massive. I've been to our local Gurdwara a number of times when we have interfaith events, and that book is massive. And actually they worship it, they kind of open it, and it's very, you know, they do some kind of worship to it and they treat it with great regard, and it's massive. And it's interesting, yesterday I was listening to Murli, and there was a Sikh sister, she's a regular student at Brahma Kumaris, but she comes from the Sikh tradition. And she nodded in agreement that yes, at one time it was very small, the Granth. So how comes it was small and has become big? Baba tells us it was humans added their bit. People who are very well versed in these scriptures, they added, they put their take on it. And so that book has become big because of human words, human ideas. Very interesting. Especially when she was here to tell me that, yes, it was very small, and now massive. I've seen a massive book. So Baba's saying, only the Father gives you the kingdom. Human beings cannot give it to human beings. However, it is of this that the sannyasis say that happiness is like the droppings of a crow, which is why they run away from their homes and families. No one but the Father, the ocean of knowledge, can give this knowledge. Only God can teach this Raj Yoga. Human beings cannot purify human beings. Only the Father is the purifier. Human beings have become so trapped on the path of devotion. They've been doing devotion for birth after birth. They go to bathe in water. It isn't that they only go to bathe in the Ganges. When they see a lake, wherever they see a lake, they consider that to be the purifier. There is a Galmuk here too, where water comes from a spring. There is water in a well too, but that cannot be called the purifier, Ganges. Human beings think that too is a pilgrimage place. Many people go to bathe there with a lot of faith. So this idea of water is very interesting. It's through all religions, the Christian tradition, as you must all know, that water plays a very, very big part, holy water. And so again, when we look back and we start to understand this knowledge more deeply, God is known as the ocean of knowledge, ocean of love, so ocean in his qualities. So as time has gone by, that's been remembered, ocean, but again, as time has gone by in the human understanding, ocean, they think, what's ocean? Water. Water is the ocean. So they've put those two together and made water very, very sacred, and then called the purifier is the ocean water. So especially in the Ganges of India, I've travelled a lot in India, but not directly to the Ganges, but I know they put all sorts in there. That's where the dead go and carcasses of animals go and rubbish go. So yeah, it's a great place, but it's also physically dirty. So if I think that something physically dirty can make me clean, then I think it can make the soul clean. We need to kind of just understand these things, that water, so if I drink a bit of water, that is it really going to purify the soul? Which means, for me, that means, is it going to take my anger away? If I sip some holy water, will my anger, will my weaknesses disappear? Well, for me, I know, no, I have to do some work on myself, meditation and study the self to remove those weaknesses in the soul. But water plays a lot of significance. Many people go to bathe there with a lot of faith. You children have now received knowledge. So it's not the water, it's the knowledge that we're working with. Even when you tell them, they don't believe you. They have a lot of arrogance of the body and say, we have studied so many scriptures. The Father says, forget everything you have studied. How can human beings know anything about any of these things? This is why Baba says, write down such points in the leaflets and drop them from an aeroplane. I think that happened in India. For us, we would be fined, in trouble, if we dropped anything from an aeroplane. They would consider it litter. We'd be in trouble. Nowadays, they all ask, how can there be peace in the world? When someone gives advice for this, he receives a prize, but he cannot establish peace. Where is peace? Where is peace? They continue to give prizes falsely. You now understand that there will be peace in the world after the war. This war can take place at any time because such preparations have been made. Many bombs are made secretly, many we know about. Someone there with a great authority is, anything can happen at any time, as we know. Look what we're seeing in the news, what we're experiencing in the world. So it's a very interesting point Baba says now. So Baba says this war can take place at any time because such preparations have been made. The delay is until you children reach your Karmati stage. So what's this saying? Very deep, but really Baba's saying World transformation begins with self-transformation. And so I have to work on myself, karmatit, free from the effect of all my past actions. Each one of us in the soul has the effect of past action, negative action, the vices. They're in the soul. So the whole work that we're doing now is to remove, work on, reduce, and ultimately eradicate the vices in the soul and the effect of our past karmas that we performed unknowingly on the soul. So when we change, Baba's saying when his children change, then that will impact the world. The war will begin. Very powerful statement. The sense of responsibility on us to work on ourselves. It is this that requires effort, to become karmatit. The Father says, constantly remember me alone, and while living at home with your families, become as pure as a lotus and continue to churn the knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world. So keep these aspects in your intellect. So this is purifying the intellect. When I keep knowledge there, it's cleaning the soul. This is what Baba wants. Keep the, rather than the news of the world. Yes, we know what's going on, but to have that constantly in my intellect won't clean the soul of the negativity in it. It's the knowledge, remembrance and the knowledge that will clean the intellect of this soul. You can also write, according to the drama plan, peace in the world will be established as it was in the previous cycle. You can even explain that only in the golden age can there be peace in the world. Here there is definitely peacelessness. However, there are some who won't believe what you tell them. Because they are not going to go to heaven, they won't even follow Shiri Mat. Shiri, elevated, Mat, directions. The Murli, follow what Baba says. Yeah, they won't follow it. There are many here who are unable to remain pure according to Shiri Mat. You are receiving directions from God, the highest on high. So recognize where these directions are coming from. Baba's giving them to us, God. When someone's behavior isn't good, others tell them, may God give you great wisdom. You now have to follow God's directions. The Father says you have been floundering in the ocean of poison for 63 births. The Father only speaks to you, to the children. The Father only reforms his own children. How could he reform the whole world by himself? He says to the people outside, learn everything from the children. The Father cannot speak to the people outside. The Father has great love for his own children. He doesn't have as much love for stepchildren. A physical father gives wealth to his worthy children. Not all his children would be the same. Again, very interesting point. God loves every human soul is his child. 7.5 billion in the world right now. He loves them. Everyone is his child. But like on a physical level, any of you must be parents, you relate that when your child is doing what you say, working with you, cooperating with you, then you love that child. You love all your children, but the one that's cooperating, it's like, oh, this child making my life easier, doing what I say. So you'll appreciate, you'll have, whether you say extra love, but the one that's cooperating, making your life easier, you're grateful for. So in the same way, Baba's saying that all are his children, but those that follow his directions, actually what it means is those that are helping him in his task of world transformation. Those that are helping him in his task of world transformation, they're his worthy children. Therefore, he says he loves them, because this is very interesting. We think of God as all-powerful, which he is, almighty, all-powerful. But there's even limits. Very interesting. Again, we need to explore. These are things to churn about. Baba can't speak this knowledge to the whole world right now. Look, half of the world are in bed. Yeah, it's Saturday morning, weekend. They're snoozing in bed. So how many of us are up listening? There are a few. How does he get to speak to them all? According to the laws of the world we're in, he's restricted by that. Although we say God is the Almighty, there are methods, limited methods, that he has to abide by, the laws of karma. Fascinating to understand this more deeply. And so he's speaking to us now. God is speaking to me right now. But who's listening? A handful. In Loughborough here, there's a few. in Lagos, Nigeria, there's a few. The rest, everyone else is doing their own thing. This is just a method. So he says it's up to us also to tell them, but we have to tell them later in the day if they're willing to listen, and we know many are not. So this is, God has to work with the laws of the land. So that's why he says stepchildren. They're his children, but maybe they're not ready yet, or they're not willing, or they don't want to. He accepts all that. But in fact, only Baba can say this. We can't say this, but Baba's so honest with us, so straightforward, which I actually really appreciate, because that's important to me, that complete honesty. But sometimes we don't like to hear this ultimate honesty, do we? Yeah. So a physical father gives wealth to his worthy children. Not all his children would be the same. The father too says, I give this inheritance to those who belong to me. Those who don't belong to me will not be able to digest it. They will not be able to follow Shirimat. They are devotees. Baba has seen many such people. When well-known sannyasis come, they bring many followers. They collect funds. Each one gives funds according to his capacity. Here, the father doesn't tell you to collect funds. Baba will never ask for money. But of course, we need money to run our centres. We need money to make things happen. And so Baba will never ask, because it doesn't matter. Come to Baba with something, nothing, whatever. But of course, the law of karma, if I give some of the money that I earn to Baba, I'm sowing seeds for the future. It's if I have karma with God right now, imagine. Let's not have karma with human beings. I heard this point the other day in a lesson on karma, and it kind of triggered something in me, reminded me to have a karmic account with God. So if I give him my time, I give him my thoughts, my actions are for Baba, and my wealth for Baba, just whatever we can afford. It's not the amount, but this is an opportunity to really create fortune and create a great future for myself. So here the father doesn't tell you to collect funds. No, here, whatever you sow, you receive the fruit of that for 21 births. So what I sow, in my actions for Baba, for God, I receive the fruit of that for half the cycle. When people make a donation, they believe that they are doing it in the name of God. They either surrender that to God or to Krishna. Why do they mention the name of Krishna? Because they consider him to be the God of the Gita. They never say that they are surrendering everything to Radhe. So that's the Radhe and Krishna from the Golden Age. Yeah? Somehow Krishna is seen as God in Hinduism. They either say that they are surrendering it to God or to Krishna. They know that it is God who will give the fruit of that. When a child is born into a wealthy family, it is said that that child must have given a lot of donations in his previous birth, for that is why he has taken birth there. He can even become a king. However, that happiness is as temporary as the droppings of a crow. I was just reading a little bit about one king, actually the King of Spain. It was a news article that I just happened to come across, and what he's up to and what he's doing. So it's interesting, these kings, even though they have wealth, they have title, it's still there's not that happiness there anymore, is there? For me, a king is one that will rule, that will support his people, or will do everything he can for his country. And yet we see today that those that have title, those that have wealth, those that have position, they're not happy. That's why they have to do other things and get themselves in trouble. So even title and status and wealth doesn't bring happiness. Hence this Baba's saying happiness is like the droppings of a crow. It's not real happiness. Sannyasis inspire kings to have renunciation by telling them that a woman is like a snake. However, Draupadi called out to be protected from Dushanan. Even now, innocent mothers call out for their honour to be protected. You know, the 5 Pandavas gambled everything, including their wife, away, and then she was about to be stripped until she called out to, it was Krishna, but to God, to save her from being stripped. And this is our story, really. We've lost all our virtue, lost all our power in the name of forgetting God, forgetting ourselves on this journey of life, indulging in wealth and lust and the vices, and we've lost our honour. We've lost our honour. Now we've done all that. We're calling out. We've gambled it all away for the sake of, unknowingly, for wealth, for name, for fame. Not what people are doing for fame. Baba talks about that in the Murli also. And as a result, we lose our power, we lose our strength, we lose our honour. And it's then that we call out. Even now, innocent mothers call out for their honour to be protected. Baba, he beats me a great deal. They are even ready to kill for the sake of poison. What's going on in the world as a result of lust? What's interesting how we're seeing more of that. Whether you say it's always existed, fine, but we're much more aware what someone will do for an act of lust. Baba's saying, give up all these things now. Become pure. He's telling us in the Murli, connect to me and let's change this world. Let's put this world right again. Baba, liberate me from this bondage. The Father says, the bondage is to come to an end, and then no one shall be stripped for 21 births. There is no vice there. That's the golden age. This is the final birth in the land of death. This is the vicious world. The second thing that the Father explains is human beings have become so senseless at this time. When someone dies, people say that he has gone to heaven. But where is heaven? This is hell. If he became a resident of heaven, he must surely have been a resident of hell. So if we say we're going up above to heaven, so what's this place here? It's not heaven. It must be hell. However, when you tell someone directly that he is a resident of heaven, of hell, he becomes angry and gets upset. Write to such people, so-and-so became a resident of heaven, which must mean that you are a resident of hell. I think we have to be careful of what methods we use. We can now show the method with which you can truly go to heaven. This old world is now to be destroyed. Have it printed in the papers that there will be peace in the world after the war, exactly as there was 5,000 years ago. There was only the one original eternal deity religion there. Genti Ben in her Murli class this morning spoke about this, that she was with someone quite a few years ago who's from America, and he said to her, come on, let's do this TV program and tell them that the third world is coming and that you have to become pure. Let's tell them. And Genti Ben said, no. People aren't going to listen. They're not going to listen. We have to be tactful. We have to work with things that they will listen to first and build up to these things. So sometimes we're intoxicated in knowledge and we want to share all these things, but we soon find out that people think, no. There was only the one original eternal deity religion there. Those people say that devils such as Khans, Jarasandha, etc., all existed there. That's devils existed in the Golden Age, and that Ravan existed in the Silver Age. Who would beat their heads with such people? There is the difference of day and night between knowledge and devotion. This is such a simple thing, and yet it hardly sits in anyone's intellect. That in heaven there's only virtue, in hell there's vice. Simple, but they've mixed it up, saying that in heaven there are devils, there's fighting, there's lots of stories. Baba's saying, no, this is so simple. So create such slogans. According to the drama, there will be peace in the world after this war. Every cycle, peace comes to the world. And then by the end of the Iron Age, there is peacelessness. Only in the Golden Age is there peace. You can even write that it is only because of the mistake made in the Gita that Bharat has now reached this condition. The mistake was that they inserted the name of Shri Krishna, who takes the full 84 births. They didn't insert the name of Shri Narayan. It has a few days, he has a few days less than the full 84 births. Krishna takes the full 84 births, completely pure, absolute pure, but they've inserted Krishna's name in the Gita and said Krishna is God. The human being's God. Yeah? Shiv Baba comes to make the children become like diamonds, diamond flawless, diamond strong, diamond sparkles, diamond the most valuable jewel in the world. So Baba's come to make you like a diamond. Therefore, there has to be a golden container in which the Father can come. How can this one become golden? This is why Baba instantly gave visions to him. He said, you are to become a master of the world. Now constantly remember me alone and become pure. So in the beginning, Brahma Baba had visions of destruction, visions of what the Golden Age would be like, visions of what he had to become. So that instilled the faith, that instilled the power, and that he was to become the master of the world. So he became pure instantly, and that Baba then entered that soul. Although an ordinary man, in the sense that he was married, had a business, unknown to the world, he wasn't a great saint, but he had so much experience of this world. So Baba entered him as the best instrument. In fact, well, he was to become Krishna in the Golden Age, but also these many aspects of practicality, why God chose this instrument. But he became pure because he instantly took on this practice, instantly to become pure and to follow God's directions. Unless one becomes pure, so Baba says, now constantly remember me alone and become pure. So he immediately began to become pure. Unless one becomes pure, one cannot imbibe knowledge. So with the purity, we can take this knowledge on. A golden vessel is required to hold the milk of a lioness. This is the knowledge of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. One needs a golden vessel to imbibe this knowledge. Only when you become pure can dana take place. So the vessel is the intellect. And when I purify the intellect, I can hold this knowledge. Dana, I live that. I imbibe it and I express this knowledge. When someone makes a promise to maintain purity and then falls, the pilgrimage of yoga ends, even knowledge ends. So if I, when I'm remembering Baba, the knowledge is there, but when I become impure, there's lust, then I can't remember Baba. I'll remember the person, I'll remember the world. Baba says it's the end of the cycle. So just one birth, the cycle is about to finish and start again. So one birth, adopt what Baba's telling us, become pure, renounce the vices, work on ourselves, just for one birth. It all goes on the rest of the cycle. So when someone falls from purity, then the pilgrimage of yoga ends, even knowledge ends. That one cannot then say to anyone, God says lust is the greatest enemy. The arrow he shoots would not strike the target. Such ones become like cockerels who only crow this knowledge. Baba says they do not practice what they preach. No vice should remain. So people will listen to us when we're practicing it. And of course, when we share these things, but we also share our experience of it, because what our practical experience, what's real for us, then people will listen because we're speaking from our heart, we're speaking from our experiences. It's tangible. People will listen. Absolutely, they will listen. Keep your daily chart. Chart, check, write down, think about it. Keep checking the self. Yeah. Keep your daily chart. Just as the Father is the almighty authority, so Maya is also an almighty authority. Ravan's kingdom continues for half the cycle. No one but the Father can enable you to conquer Ravan. According to the drama, there has to be Ravan's kingdom. So again, the drama, there is half is happiness, half is sorrow. It's the drama, it's fixed. We have to accept that it's now Ravan's kingdom. The vices are ruling. Yeah, it's drama. This drama is based on the victory and defeat of Bharat. The Father only explains this to you children. The principal thing is for you to become pure. The Father says, I come to purify the impure. People have portrayed a battle between the Pandavas and the Kauravas and have shown them gambling, etc. How could such things exist there? So, Golden Age, there's no gambling. All these stories that are in Bhakti, on the path of devotion, but I was saying in Golden Age, no gambling, there's no fighting, no quarrelling between people. He's also saying, they also show the battlefield and that they studied on the battlefield. And he's saying, how can you study on a battlefield? You're fighting. So Baba's kind of giving answers to all these stories. How could such things exist there? Could that be the study of Raj Yoga? You know, one thing we're learning to do in Raj Yoga is not to fight with anyone anymore, not to argue. We're dropping all these things, and it's wonderful when for many of us, for me also, arguing in the family and fighting my case, not physically maybe, but with words or in my mind. And Baba's saying, drop all of that now. Don't argue. Be peaceful. State your case, give your opinion, but don't fight with it. Don't force it. So, beautiful way of living Baba's teaching us. Yeah. Could that be the study of Raj Yoga, which means gambling and fighting? Could there be a Gita Pashala on a battlefield, means a study place on a battlefield? These are all stories that have been written. On the one hand, there is Shiv Baba, who is beyond birth and death. And on the other hand, there is Krishna, who takes the full 84 births. The Father comes and enters him in his final birth. This is so clear. God enters the body of Brahma, speaks this knowledge at the confluence age. Children listen and change. And then as they change, as they imbibe it in their lives, they then tell others. Simple, Baba said, so simple. This is so clear. While living at home with your family, you have to become pure. Sannyasis say that a couple living together cannot remain pure. Tell the sannyasis that it is because they don't have any attainments that they are unable to stay together. However, here we receive the sovereignty of the world. So we're becoming pure in family life because we know what we're going to attain. We know the future. There'll be pure family life in the Golden Age. There'll be self-sovereignty. We're ruler of ourselves, rulers of the world. So this is why Baba said, because we know what we're attaining, this is why we're leading this lifestyle right now. The Father says, preserve the honor of the clan for my sake. Shiv Baba says, preserve the honor of this one's beard. Remain pure in this final birth and you will become the masters of heaven. Not like Baba's pleading with us, for my sake, for God's sake, preserve our honor, you know, the honor of Brahma Baba, of Shiv Baba, you know, really do this. He's kind of almost like amazing, not pleading with his children. Each of you has to make effort for yourself. No one else can go to heaven. Your kingdom is being established. There are all types of people there, but there are no advisors there. Kings there don't need advice. Impure kings have to have advisors. Here there are so many ministers. They continue to fight amongst themselves. The Father liberates you from all complications. Look at the world. The king doesn't make decisions. They have their speeches written for them. There's a whole team that write a speech and check it. And Baba's saying the reason there are advisors now is because we can't make decisions. Look at our own selves. The impurity in either soul doesn't enable me to be clear on what I want from life, of what I want to do. I can't take a pure advice within my own self because of the impurity. Kings today, they haven't got that power to rule because of the impurity in the soul. This is what Baba's teaching us. Therefore, that creates so much complication. The world is so complicated, yeah? There will be no war for 3,000 years. None of the jails will remain. This golden age, beautiful. Okay. None of the jails will remain. There won't be any courts, etc. There is happiness and only happiness. You have to make effort for that. So if you want to go there, you have to make that effort to go there. Yeah? Death is just ahead of you. Become conquerors of sinful acts by having the pilgrimage of remembrance. You are the messengers who have to give everyone the Father's message of Man Man above. Acha, Man Man, focus your mind on God. Tell everyone to remember the Supreme Soul, remember God. To the sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bapdada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children
say namaste and good morning to the spiritual father.
Lovely. Essence Vedana number 1. In order to imbibe knowledge, become pure and clean the vessel of your intellect. You clean it with knowledge. Don't become a cockerel gyani who can only crow knowledge. Means someone who doesn't practice what he preaches. So much in the world, isn't there? So many people are saying things. They're great. You can look on YouTube, so much self-development, so many motivational speakers. We look and we think, wow, they're amazing. Wow, they're, you know, but what are they doing behind closed doors? We know sometimes we get to find out a news item. This one did this one's doing that. You know, there's still, I must admit, at Loughborough University where I not at the moment because of lockdown, doing everything online there, but they had a wellbeing day for the doctoral college. Yes, this soul gave some talks, but there was a motivational speaker there and he had the most people attend actually, but they're all free. We had about 20, 25 people come to our sessions, but his one had about 50 people or so come. But someone said to me later on, it's very interesting. He said, yeah, he was great. He talked about happiness. He was dynamic. He was amazing. But you know what? He swore a lot and I didn't like that. Also, there's a lot of force behind how he spoke. You know, she said, I didn't really like that. So interesting. Baba's teaching us to drop the anger, to have good manners, to really be what we're talking about. Baba's teaching us to be so authentic. Number 2, surrender everything you have directly to the Father. Follow Shirima and claim a royal status for 21 births. So what we're doing with Baba now, there's a fruit of that. There's a karmic return. Give your mind to Baba, do good acts for Baba, give some money to Baba, help Baba in his task. I will receive the fruit because it's direct now. It's direct karma. Amazing if we understand this point. Blessing, may you constantly be victorious and free from obstacles and make the fortress strong by adopting the method of cleanliness, in order for every soul to become victorious and free from obstacle in this fortress. Have programs for yoga simultaneously everywhere at particular times. So let's say in your country or your region, adopt a time, which we're doing actually, the United Yoga Bhatti at 12:30. Interesting. No one will then be able to cut this string, because the more you continue to increase doing service, the more Maya will try to make you to belong to her. Working with others, Maya comes, challenge comes, but she can cut the string of our yoga. Therefore, just as they have cleanliness in whenever they begin a task, in the same way, all of you elevated souls should have the one pure thought of being victorious. Cleanliness of the mind means one thought we all have. We are victorious, we will be victorious, this one thought. With this method of cleanliness, the fortress will become strong. Will become strong, mentally strong. Slogan: the instant and practical fruit of doing yukti-yukt and accurate service is happiness. So the instant and practical fruit, so of doing yukti-yukt and accurate service is happiness. If I do things in the right way, in remembrance of Baba, but accurately, I get happiness. I feel instant happiness. Om Shanti. So there's a little passage at the end, and it's very powerful, very nice passage. Invaluable Jewels of Matashwari, that's Mama. Title: do not have a competition in performing sinful acts. Very interesting. First of all, you definitely have to keep the aim that no matter how, you have to control your vices. For only then will you be able to stay in godly happiness and peace. Our main effort is for us to remain peaceful ourselves. Our main effort is to remain peaceful ourselves and to bring peace to others. And we definitely need the power of tolerance for this. Everything depends on us. Let it not be that when someone says something, you became peaceless. No, the first virtue of knowledge is to imbibe tolerance. Look, on the path of ignorance, it is said, no matter how much someone insults you, just think, I wasn't hurt by that. Beautiful method here. No matter how much someone insults you, just to think, I wasn't hurt by that. Beautiful. Often we think, I am hurt, but what she's saying, I wasn't hurt by that. The person who insulted you became peaceless himself, but his karmic accounts are his own. His karmic accounts are his own. But if I too become peaceless and say something, then that would be my sinful act. That would be my sinful act. Therefore, I mustn't have any competition of committing sin. We have to burn away our sins, not create more. We have been committing such sins for birth after birth and have been taking sorrow. We have now received the knowledge to conquer these 5 vices. There is a huge expansion of the vices, and they come in a very subtle way. Sometimes there is jealousy, and so you think, this one did this, so why should I not do the same? It means copy someone in their bad act. This is a big mistake. You have to make yourself free from making mistakes. If someone says something, then consider that to be a test for you. So they insult you. What's the first thought? It's my test. My test. I wasn't hurt. That's my first thought. I'm not hurt. It's my test. If someone says something, then consider that to be a test for you, to see to what extent you have the power of tolerance. Beautiful, eh? If someone says, I have tolerated a lot, oh, I tolerate so much, but become forceful even once, he has ultimately failed. You know, I've tolerated so much. Why did they do it? Baba's saying failure. I have to stay in peaceful, calm. not to talk about it. That's another big challenge, isn't it? Whoever said something spoilt his own account. Whoever said something spoilt his own account. I have to create my account. It means create my account of tolerance, not spoil it. And so let me make good effort and create a good reward for myself for birth after birth. Those who are under the influence of the vices have those devil spirits in them. And such is the language that emerges from devil spirits. That's the soul. You know, someone who has the vices in them. That's in them. It's their language. It's not to do with me. However, the language that emerges from those who are divine souls is divine. I have to be divine. So I have to make myself divine, not devilish. Acha. Wow. Let's have a few moments of silence and then we can all share a powerful Murli today to wake us up. Just a few moments with Baba.
Yeah. Yes, sister.
One moment of silence, just 1 minute.
Yeah. Silence, then we discuss points. Okay.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Om Shanti. Okay, so
Thank you.
nice to
Om
see you
Shanti.
all. Om Shanti, nice to see you all.
Thank you, sister. Same here.
Same here.
Can I see you all? Be nice to take me off spotlight. I can see you.
Been a while. You didn't want to join us anymore.
Can you take me off spotlight so I can see everybody? I can't see everybody. Oh, okay, that's better. There you go.
Yes, one by one, whoever wants, they can share their point. Anybody want?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I start? I'm sorry you can't see me. I'm traveling.
Yes,
My
please.
audio will be blurred if I show my video. I'm on the road.
No problem.
Yes, my name is Osita, and I welcome you again, sister. Like my brother said, we have missed you. Really missed you.
No, nice to
bless you.
hear your voice. Nice to hear your voice again. Great.
Baba bless you. Thank you.
Thank you
Now,
for your
today, Baba says
Yeah.
that the father says for me to preserve the honor of the clan for his sake.
Yeah.
Preserve the honor of the clan for the sake of the father. That's amazing. That if I remain pure in this final birth, I'll become a master of heaven. And then he assures me that my kingdom is being established. But once that there are all types of people in the kingdom, but there will be no advisors there. You know? So I have to go prepared. Then he says that in order to imbibe knowledge, I must become pure and sanitize the vessel of my intellect. I shouldn't become the cockerel Gyani who can only crow knowledge, meaning that I must practice whatever I preach.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
he says to me, this is the one I take home, with joy, that I must surrender everything that I have directly to the Father, follow Srimad, and claim my royal status of 21 births. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Very nice.
This is amazing. Thank
Isn't it
you.
interesting that, when we understand this is God speaking, so whatever we do now, like in any karmic act, you help somebody, help your neighbour today. I'm going to help my neighbour, I help somebody. Yes, you'll get happy. They'll be happy with you. They may bless you and they say, thank you very much. But if I help Baba in his task now, the fruit of that, because we can't see it, this is the issue, it's going to help me for half the cycle. The karmic return is massive. If I can understand that, get that in my intellect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Now, next, brother Bazi and sister Bazi.
Sisters first.
Okay.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, my angel.
Om Shanti.
Today, I'm just floating. I'm so happy because Baba still assures that he loves us, the children, the best. And he speaks to us only. And he does that, you know, with so much love in order to reform us. So he has to give us this elevated direction, Srimat. Baba again says it comes to teach us Raj Yoga. No other human being can teach this. Human beings cannot purify human beings. Only Baba is the purifier. So many laurel prizes are given to people because of talking about peace. But Baba makes us understand that no one can establish peace. We're all looking for peace and happiness, but we are looking for it wrongly. Only Baba can do, and that we can only find this peace and happiness in golden age. Then in Mama's own, I'm told not to compete with committing sins with others. Rather, I should remain peaceful and bring peace, because it's in remaining peaceful. I can only give what I have. It's in remaining peaceful, I bring peace to others. And this can only be achieved through the power of tolerance. I have to make myself divine and not devilish. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, very nice.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Sister, it's been a while. You abandoned us for a long time.
You have to speak to your, I don't know who you speak. I'm willing to come more. You just call me and I'll come.
That's wonderful. The point I want to stress here is how overflowing Baba's love is. And what he said today really melted me away because I've been through it. When my son was young and he was sick, they took him to hospital. The mother took him to the hospital and he came back and refused to take the medicines given to him. The mother beat him. He said he's not going to take it. Then I came back from work and then they told me what the problem was. And I called my husband. I said, please now, please. He said, no. I said, okay, take this medicine for my sake. So he accepted. He took the drugs for my sake and he got well. You see how Baba is petting us? That's exactly what Baba is doing with us. He's speaking with us to be pure and not for our own good. It's wonderful. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, lovely. Yeah, thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Now our thank you, Brother Baji. Now, Brother
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Baba says we definitely have to be pure to imbibe knowledge. It takes a golden vessel to hold the milk of a lioness. Baba has to purify us and take us to the land of peace. I mean, to the land of happiness via the land of peace. Knowledge is very easy, but it requires a lot of effort to be in remembrance of Baba. That definitely the war, Mahabharata war will take place. But we have to reach a Kamati stage before that war takes place. You recall that the First World War took place 1914 to 1918, Second World War 1938 to 1945. After those two world wars, there was reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. But the Third World War that is coming, Mahabharata War, Baba says it can happen, or it will happen suddenly. He has not fixed the time for that. After that war, Baba will take souls, billions of souls back home, remaining only 900,000 to 1 million to start a new world in Bharat. Baba speaks to only his children, not to the step-children. We are Baba's helpers. We are Baba's students. So we help Baba to establish heaven in Bharat. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you. Now, Brother Dayo, please.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
You can on your video, please.
Okay. This place is a bit dark. Well,
Okay.
Don't worry. Oh yes, can't see you.
Oh yeah.
No problem.
Okay. So Baba says, where is peace? That the world is filled with peacelessness currently, and that there will be